Hi everyone, I hope all of you are able to hear me and all of you have joined the YouTube live session. So if there are any questions, feel free to ask using the chat option. So I'm going to be answering all the queries that you have with respect to NMAT as part of this session that we are doing. So first things first, the notification for NMAT 24 is out and there are a few major changes. So of course, the biggest change is in the window, the test window that has been reduced, and it is going to be starting at a later point of time, right? So compared to what it used to be earlier. So NMAT previously, if you had followed the NMAT in the previous years, it used to start around October and used to get over in December. So it used to be a 75-day window that has been reduced to 46 days, right? So that's a change that has happened. So we are going to look at the important dates first of all, and then we'll talk about the registration fees. We are going to be coming up with, we are going to make a video on form filling guidelines. So that is going to happen on the 1st August itself. So on the 1st August when the registration is going to start, we'll have a video detailing what are the guidelines that you need to follow. So please follow that and then only register for NMAT. So don't make any mistakes at the time of registration. It is something which is an expensive test, so please keep that in mind. You don't want to make any mistakes while you're filling the form. Regarding NMIMS application, so once you register for the NMAT, you get an application ID, the GMAC application ID that is there, and you use that to register for NMIMS. So on the NMIMS website at this point of time, they haven't mentioned anything in terms of the dates. So we'll have to wait and watch. But for now, let's focus on NMAT, right? So NMAT registration, they have announced as to when it is going to start. So let me take you through the important dates first of all. So the registration is starting from 1st August and it will continue till 10th October. So you have a lot of time to complete your registration. But of course, it's always recommended that you try and register as early as possible. Of course, don't make any mistakes in a hurry. Now the second thing is scheduling. Now what is scheduling? So scheduling is deciding when you want to take the NMAT. So on what particular date you want to appear for the test. So that is going to start from 1st August, which means that if I, let's say, fill my form on, let's say, 2nd or 3rd August, on the same day I'll also be able to decide as to when I want to take the test and I can book my slot. So that is what scheduling is. That is going to continue till 14th October. Okay, so again you have a lot of time. Regarding retake registration, now what is retake? Retake is only once you have taken your first attempt of NMAT. So let's say I appear for NMAT on a particular date, right? Let's say you appear on the end of November, right? And if you want to take it later, you can, and that is what retake is, which is going for a second attempt or a third attempt, because NMAT allows you to take total of maximum of 3 attempts. NMIMS has considered only the first attempt in the previous years. So of course, we'll have to wait and see whether they continue that this year or not. Right now, there is no notification on that front. So let's assume that they're going to continue what it has been previously, which is the first attempt of NMAT. So if you are somebody who is targeting NMIMS specifically, your first attempt of NMAT is going to matter, and you have to be very careful as to when you take it. Now, a lot of times students ask, should I take it in November? Should I take it in December? Does the test become difficult as it progresses? The answer is no. The test, first of all, does not become difficult in any way. It's a standardized test, so don't worry about that. But when you should take it depends on when you feel adequately prepared. So if you think that, okay, in November I'm going to be prepared for the test, let me take it. You register for a November attempt. If you think that no, maybe I want to wait a little bit more and take it in December, you can do that as well, right? So that is something that can be done. Now regarding rescheduling, so ideally avoid rescheduling because there's a cost also associated with it. What is rescheduling? Rescheduling is, let's say I have registered for an attempt on a particular date. Let's say the exam delivery is starting from 5th November and I've registered for a slot. So I've scheduled my slot for, let's say, 10th November. Now, for whatever reasons, let's say maybe I have some exam coming up, there is some pressure at work, due to which I believe I'll not be able to take it on that day. I can go for rescheduling the test. Okay, so before my test is conducted, I can reschedule it to some other date. So maybe let's say I want to push it by 2 weeks, I can do that. However, there's a cost associated with that, and that is why I would suggest that you do your scheduling carefully rather than doing your scheduling first and then going for, let's say, a rescheduling. Now, the important thing, as I mentioned in the beginning, right, the exam delivery date, that's the major change that has happened. So it is starting from 5th November and it will continue till 20th December. In the previous years, typically the exam delivery used to start in October itself, giving students 75-day window in which they had the option of taking the test. But now because this has gone down, it will put a little bit of a pressure, right? Because earlier students had that thing that, okay, I can take it, let's say in October. If I don't do well, I can take it in November again. If I still don't do well, I can take it in December as well. Because there are a lot of other institutes who accept the best of the scores that you get. Speaking of NMIMS specifically, they have always taken the first attempt, right? So that is something that you have to be very careful about as to when you take your first attempt. Most of the candidates end up taking only one attempt because they're targeting NMIMS. But if you're somebody who is looking at other institutes which are okay with the best score that you submit, in that case, you can of course go for multiple attempts as well. So major change, the test window has reduced from 75 days to 46 days. 5th November is when it is starting, and then 20th December is when it will end. So you have to take it in between this period only, all right? Now moving on to the test fees. So test registration is going to cost you 3,000 plus taxes. If you go for a retake, that is also going to be 3,000 plus taxes, and additional score reports beyond first 5. Okay, so a lot of times students have this question also, that they have this thing in the form itself where you can indicate which institutes you want to apply to. But please note that even if you select the institutes there, it just means that your GMAC is going to share your score with those institutes. It does not mean that you have applied to that institute. So you still have to make an application to that institute. So when you fill the NMAT form, and of course when we do the detailed guideline video, you will see that in that you have to select NMIMS as one of the institutes, which means that GMAC will share your score with NMIMS. But you still have to complete NMIMS registration process as well, which is going to be separate from this application. Okay, so keep that in mind. And rescheduling is going to be 1200 plus taxes. Now they have not made any other changes in terms of how many attempts can you take. So you still have 3 attempts that they have given on the website. But because the test window has gone down, right, a lot of people I don't think will go for 3 attempts. Maybe people will opt for 2 attempts or a singular attempt this time. So that is something that may happen. But yeah, test window has gone down. So keep that in mind. Those of you who are thinking that, okay, I'll take NMAT in October, in November I'll take the CAT and so on. Now you'll have to make changes to your entire strategy, right? So earlier, a lot of you would have started taking mocks of NMAT in August itself. Now you have a little bit of a breather there. So you can say that, okay, I can start my NMAT mocks in September as well. I'll still have enough time to do well on the test, right? So that's about it. That's regarding the NMAT notification. As I mentioned, NMIMS process will be separate, and you have to apply to NMIMS as well separately. Once the registration begins, which is 1st August, on the 1st August or on 2nd August maximum, we'll put a video detailing the form filling guidelines. So ensure that you watch that video and then only you start filling the form, okay? Any questions, if anybody has any questions, we can just have a look at it. All right, so okay, if I'm not targeting NMIMS, should I give NMAT? So there's a question from Snehal. If I'm not targeting NMIMS, should I take the NMAT? Now there are a few other institutes as well that accept the NMAT score, right? So if you think of say Somaya or a TAPMI, they're going to be accepting NMAT scores. So if you're targeting those institutes, then you must take NMAT. But yeah, the best institute that you can get through NMAT is going to be NMIMS. Yeah. All right, any other questions? Anything that anybody wants to know? We can quickly have a discussion around it. Otherwise, more or less we have covered the things that we wanted to cover. And in case you haven't subscribed to the channel, do it right away, because we have a lot of content that we have already uploaded and content that will keep coming your way regarding CAT and all the other entrances. So that's imscatprep. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. And regarding NMAT, we already mentioned main 2 things that have happened. One, the test start date has been postponed, or rather pushed to November. That is what has happened. Earlier it used to be October. And the test window has gone down. It used to be 75 days. Now it has become 46 days. Otherwise, no major changes apart from this. So in terms of the number of retakes that you can take and all of that, the process for retake, rescheduling, all those things have remained more or less the same. Okay. So that's it from my side. I can see a couple of questions. So Harsh has asked, where can I find online mocks for NMAT? So if you're an IMS student, you will be getting NMAT mocks very soon. So we'll be announcing the date on which you're going to get it. Right now we are in the process of building those mocks. So you will get that announcement very soon from our side. There's a question from Rishi Roop, can we take from home as well? So NMAT has always given that flexibility, which means you can take it. So there is an option to take it from home as well. This year, let's see if they have made any specific announcement on that. I didn't see any change in the beginning, so let's have a look at that. So they have given, again, no negative marking, equal weightage to all sections and all of that, which is more or less the same. 3 attempts, as I mentioned, and then downloading the scorecard within 48 hours. So that is also something that has remained exactly the same. Once you take the test on screen, immediately you will be able to see your score. Generally, there's no change between the score that you see on screen and the result, unless there was some technical issue. It has happened in the past, but generally that does not happen to a lot of students. Very few cases there will be some issue between the score that you see on screen and the actual score. The way it happened last year when they had some issue glitch on day 1. That is why I generally don't recommend people to take the test on day 1. Okay, so in case you're thinking of taking it on the first day of itself, scheduling on that day, I would strongly encourage you not do that, right? I mean, don't do it, don't take it on day 1, because of the technological challenges or issues that may happen, right? So don't do that. Regarding taking from home, let's look at, okay, so they've given this, you can select your preferred exam date, online proctored mode from home, right? So clearly they've mentioned that as well. So no change on that front, which means it is possible to take it from home as well, okay? Okay, Anubhav has asked, can I get NMIMS Mumbai in my second test? So NMIMS previously has clearly mentioned, so even once the NMIMS application opens, we'll be able to see that. But they have clearly mentioned that they only look for the first attempt, right? So whatever score that you get in your first attempt, that is something that they are going to consider. So your second attempt of NMAT, even if let's say somebody scores higher, that will not be considered. Okay, so I'll just put these dates. Exam delivery start 5th November till 28th December, and the registration starting from 1st August continuing till 10th October. Surbi, I'm a classroom student. I've completed syllabus but not getting scores. So I'm assuming you're talking about CAT. Of course, we have a lot of content on CAT where we have covered that thing, and we keep doing sessions. So today let's focus on NMAT. I would just suggest you to not get demotivated at this point of time, because a lot of students, this is the period when people start getting demotivated because of scores. But the thing is to just continue, right? So as there is a saying, right? Chop wood, carry water. So you believe in the process, you keep working on the things that you are doing, and then at some point of time, you'll start seeing improvement. Bhaskar has asked, NMIMS considers only first attempt regardless of the score, high, low. Yes, that is what it has been previously. We'll of course wait for this year's notification. When will NMAT mocks be released? We are going to announce that date very soon, so stay tuned for that. Should I take NMAT in early November considering CAT is on November 24? That's a very good question. So I would say whenever you feel adequately prepared, right? So see, at some point of time you realize that I have done more or less everything that I can do to be in a position to take a national level test. Once you get that confidence, right, then at any point of time you can take it. So whether you take it in November or you take it in December, that is immaterial. As long as you feel that, okay, I'm prepared for the test. Now, if you're somebody who generally does not like tests, right, and you think that no, I don't want to risk it, I don't want to let my CAT get affected because of my NMAT, then maybe you can put your NMAT in December. But if you think that, okay, it doesn't matter, I'm going to appear for NMAT first, so that I at least get an experience of a national level test before I face the CAT, right? So if CAT is the focus and NMAT is, let's say, a secondary choice that you have, you can still take NMAT prior to CAT. So it's an individual choice. I'm not saying that one thing is correct and the other thing is wrong. I'm just saying that you use your discretion and figure out what it is that you want to do. Anubhav is saying, I'm asking, can I apply for NMIMS Mumbai in a rescheduled exam? Okay, so if you're doing rescheduling, which is separate from retaking, rescheduling is fine. So let's say, for example, I had scheduled for, let's say, 25th November, right? Or 26th November, let's say, whatever it is. And if I change that before I have appeared for it, right? So I reschedule, whatever score that I get, NMIMS is going to consider the first score that you get, the first attempt that you give. So rescheduling is fine, but retaking won't work for NMIMS. Harsh has asked, I'm already an IMS student, will I have to pay extra to get NMAT mocks? So if you're a classroom student, of course, everything is covered. So depending on which variant you have enrolled for, what are the features of that variant, you may or may not have to pay, right? So, but for classroom, online students, we cover everything. So we cover all the tests that are there. So don't worry, you don't have to pay anything. Okay. Will IMS be helping with special classes for NMAT is what Ayushi is asking. So Ayushi, we have master classes that we have created for NMAT specifically and for all the other ADMATs as well. So ensure that you go through these, they are going to be very useful. We haven't yet released it to our students. We're just waiting for some of these announcements to happen. So we'll be releasing the ADMAT master classes as well very soon. So have a look at that. And of course, wherever you are, whether you're a classroom student or an online student, you have the mentors that you can reach out to and they will help you out with your queries. Okay. Tanay has asked, is it advisable to appear for 2 NMAT attempts to be on the safer side? So if you're targeting, say, for example, NMIMS, right, and that's the sole focus that you have, and they are going to, let's say, consider only the first attempt, then you should ideally appear for only one attempt. But if you think that, okay, TAPMI is what I'm considering or some other institutes that accept best of the scores, in that case, you can go for a second attempt or a third attempt, right? So that should help because then your chance depends on what's the maximum score that you have got, correct? So do that, yeah. Another question, should we take NMAT first or CAT? Whenever you feel that I'm adequately prepared, you can take the NMAT, right? So see, NMAT prep more or less is a subset of CAT preparation. So if you're prepared for CAT really well, you are more or less sorted for NMAT. Of course, there are some things that you'll have to do in terms of strategy, working on your speed, your test taking skills and all of that. But that is something that you can pick over the next 2-3 months that you have, right? So whether to take NMAT first or CAT first is a personal choice. Evaluate your options, figure out where you stand in terms of your CAT prep and NMAT prep, and then take that call, okay? So I hope this session has helped you. Just wanted it to be a very quick session. I think I've answered more or less all the questions that I got in the chat. But if there's anything, let me know through the comments. So you can put a comment and I'll try and get back at the earliest. Of course, we are going to have that detailed form filling video. So make sure that you watch it and then start filling the application form. So wish all of you all the best. One very interesting thing has happened, which is the change. We were expecting nothing to happen, but that change has happened. So let's see how things go. But I hope that it will be better for all the students. So all the best to all of you and stay tuned for the next set of videos. Okay. Bye everyone. Take care.